land of the free, and home of the brave. This week on the Best of the West, we're honored to accompany soldiers into a different field of battle, where soldiers can enjoy what they fought to defend.
When one hears the word hero, many different images may come to their mind. Maybe it's a comic book character, a teacher, a parent, a grandparent. For me, my hero is my friend of 32 years, Sergeant Scott Muirhead of the United States Army. And not only are we taking him on his first big game hunt ever, but we're doing it in South Africa. Welcome to the Best of the West. About 2 years ago, I had the distinct honor and privilege of being the spokesperson at a banquet dinner for the Wild Sheep Foundation. After my keynote address, Tony and Yorka de Bruin from Wild Wildebeest Safaris approached me with an idea. They said they love our country, they love freedom, they love their country, and they support the right to hunt and fish all around the world. They said it was very important to them that they recognize somebody who fights for those freedoms. They talked to me about it and I said, I don't think I'm your guy. I have all my fingers, I have all my toes, and while I was deployed, I didn't feel like I deserved what they had in mind. They looked at me dead in the eye and said, then you're the one that's gonna help us find the right person. You will be their chaperone. You will come to Africa. So the search began to find the right couple to bring to South Africa to hunt at Wild Wildebeest Safaris, with my wife and son and I as their chaperone. And after a relatively exhaustive search, we came back to my friend, Sergeant Scott Muirhead in the United States Army. I disclosed to them right away, hey, this guy's been my friend for 3 decades. But after some discussion, they said he's perfect. Even though he never hunted big game, we knew we were gonna take him on a safari.
My name is Walter Scott Muirhead. I'm in the United States Army. I've been in the Army for over 16 years. I met Dan in 2nd grade and have known him for over 30 years. He asked me if I knew anybody that would be interested in going on a hunt that was a wounded warrior. I said, I'll see what I can do. And we hung up after that conversation. I thought about it, and not more than 5 minutes later, Dan had called me back. And he said, Scott, that wounded warrior is you. Now, we were conducting a quick reaction force operation in north of Mosul. Early into that shift, started taking some small arms fire, and I went to check on the Iraqi Army soldiers that were on rooftops. The rooftop that I happened to go up on started taking heavy RPG fire and small arms fire. I decided to get myself and that sergeant off and get back with the remainder of the platoon. As I kneeled down to get off the rooftop, another insurgent had opened fire on me with an AK-47, hitting me in my front body armor and also through my right leg. From that point, I was pulled back with that sergeant applying manual pressure and ultimately medevaced back to Mosul, where I was evacuated out of country and all the way back to the States, where I recovered after 24 months of physical therapy. I'm still currently in the Army serving. Plan on staying in as long as I can. I enjoy what I do. I'm a Cavalry Scout, and really appreciate serving our country.
When the Best of the West returns, Sergeant First Class Scott Muirhead gets his safari off to a great start. We'll also head to Wyoming to join up with the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour and meet some more great American soldiers.
Beautiful buck.
The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Defiance Machine, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, Huskamaw Optics, and LongRangeStore.com.
Dan brought the Best of the West shooting rifles, which are very nice hunting rifles. I was impressed from the minute that I saw them. Dan was using the 7mm hunting rifle, and I was using the 300 Win Mag to go ahead and get confidence in the weapon system and get some practice at shooting. Dan had a pretty good shot group, put a little bit of pressure on me to make sure that my marksmanship fundamentals were in line and accurate. Definitely walked away with a lot of confidence in that weapon system and my abilities. Tony said, let's mount up and get in the vehicles and go, so we went out, and within, I'd say 5 minutes, we began seeing animals. We came onto a spot where there was an elevated blind. Tony told me instantly, without hesitation, Scott, go ahead and get up there. You're gonna take your first shot at a wildebeest. I got into position, had a very good sight picture on the wildebeest. I took the shot and brought the wildebeest down right there. Didn't even move more than, I'd say, 20 yards. Walking towards the wildebeest, I had never been that close to that animal before in my life. Really a unique animal to look at and be that close.
What amazing first day already here at Wild Wildebeest Safaris with Tony and Dean. Got my great friend Sergeant Scott Muirhead here, his first big game hunt ever. We've already observed some incredible sable, some blesbuck. We came around the corner by this water hole and it was just covered up in the beautiful blue wildebeest. And after a couple minutes of glassing, Tony picked out a big mature bull. Well, you can see Army strong, perfect shot. Congratulations, Scott. Way to go. Welcome to Africa. To everybody, what a way to start a safari.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Great job. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you so much, brothers.
Awesome.
Good shot, good shot.
Great job, everybody.
From the open savannas of South Africa to the foothills of Kudu, Wyoming, let's now join up with retired Lieutenant Colonel and founder of the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour, Dan Hammock.
The Purple Heart Outdoor Tour is a program designed for active duty members of the Special Operations community in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines to give them the opportunity to go outdoors and have great hunting and fishing experiences to help them get away from the stress of the battlefield and the stress of the things that they have to encounter day to day and the things that the Special Operations community does to defend this country.
I'm First Sergeant Tyson Crosby from the 75th Ranger Regiment. I'm stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia. Must have been around April of this year, and my friend Paul Johnson, a retired New York City firefighter, called me and asked me if I'd be interested in going out to Wyoming to hunt mule deer. And I told him, right off the bat, I'm like, that is amazing, and I would definitely be interested to head to Wyoming with him. He works with the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour, which was founded by Dan Hammock, retired Lieutenant Colonel Dan Hammock. And they worked together and they kind of set this one up. And Paul knew some guys out here in Wyoming that were wanting to support the organization and were able to get us out here. And I've hunted with the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour for a couple years now and done some really amazing things. And I was just really excited to come out here to Wyoming.
I appreciate the soldiers. I know they appreciate what we do for them, but it's all about giving back to them for what they do for our country. And you can't do enough to thank them. It's just, it's for me, it's very personal. I take it very personal what they do for us because I took the attack very personal. That happened to us on 9/11. A lot of people killed that day, but I lost a lot of very close friends. And these soldiers kind of helped me heal, I guess. over time for what they're doing for us and getting together with them. It's kind of like therapy for myself. I know it helps them, but it kind of helps me by helping them.
We're up in the mountains and we're glassing for mule deer, and we had a good team of guys up there with us, some great guys, some great friends that are here hunting with us, you know, with the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour, and it was just a lot of fun being up there with those guys. We're just stopping and glassing up some of the mountains and walking around a little bit, and finally one of the guides spotted a pretty nice mule deer, and I guess I was first in the chute to pull the trigger, so we got the gun out pretty fast. We were kind of losing some daylight, and I think that deer had been there for a few minutes, and he was curious, but I think he was getting ready to take off.
When the Best of the West returns, First Sergeant Tyson Crosby gets first shot on a Wyoming muley. Stay tuned.
I put a good shot on him, dropped him about just in place. It was really exciting, but I mean, it was a really fast, about 20 seconds to get that deer on the ground. So we walked up the mountain, probably about a 200 or 250 yard shot, I think that it was. We walked up there and get him, and he was beautiful.
That is awesome. Thanks, guys.
You broke the ice.
Broke the ice. Right.
Precious.
Yeah. It was about 900 yards there.
A big bodied deer, the biggest deer that I've ever killed and probably ever really seen in real life. And it was just so exciting, especially to do it with all these guys, with these great people that are up here taking care of us, that invited us here. Some great friends that I've known through the years. To have them up here to experience this with me, it was just unbelievable.
Congratulations, Tyson. Good job. We're here with the whole crew here on the first hunt here in Wyoming with the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour. And this is the buck that broke the ice for us on the first evening of the hunt. And Tyson just made a great shot on this buck, shooting pretty good uphill angle and just put him right down. Good way to start this hunt. We have 4 more tags to go, so stay with us.
One of my neighbors next door, because of the drought, started phoning me and telling me his eland cows are lacking and they're starting to show the drought. And I said to Scott, man, you listen here, let's go and shoot a nice big eland cow, and it's good for camp meat. We're going to have the tenderloins for supper one night. And we went down to this neighbor's land. We found the herd of eland. This big old cow stepped out. I would never forget, the left horn was a little bit skew. It like canted over to the other one. She was dry, she didn't have calves with her, and we decided to take her. Take it. And he took a perfect shot. She ran about 4 or 5 yards and she basically went down. I personally think it's a perfect hunt. For a person that's never shot these long shots, that was now really his first ultimate shot that was over 400. He did very well for that shot. It was also good to pick something, a target that will help you to get a good shot.
As you can see, a beautiful morning has greeted us here in South Africa. My great friend Sergeant Scott Muir had 509 yards on this beautiful eland. 509 yards with a 7mm mag, great shot. Scott, way to go, brother.
Thank you very much, Dan.
That's straight shooting, my friend. Congrats.
Thank you very much. I'm having such a great time here. Thank you so much, Tony, for this wonderful opportunity. It's a beautiful animal. The Best of the West rifle is just making this a blast. It's awesome.
Tell us a little bit about this animal.
Well, this is an eland cow, and we were sitting here watching animals on a long distance, and I saw this eland cow, and we do management hunting as well, so we do shoot females so that the herds are smaller, and she's a very old cow, and we decided we wanted good camp meat, and I promised them tenderloins on the fire, and so she's going to produce meat for the camp and for our staff, and we're all going to enjoy her, and she's going to be good quality meat for all of us. So I want to thank you for providing us with this quality meat, and my staff will be thankful for a long time.
Another great hunt with Wild Wildebeest Safaris.
When the best of the West returns, we prove that the bigger they are, the harder they fall. The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Polestar Outdoors, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, Huska.
My name is Robert Shoup. I'm a Sergeant First Class with the United States Army Ranger. These Purple Heart outdoor tours, hunting trips are fantastic. We all get together, these group of guys that go 90-0 all the time. We get to tone it down and take breaks and get away from it all and come up here and sit around with each other and just busting each other's chops and laughing and telling stories. You got firefighters, you got soldiers. It's a real great group of guys that all come together and have a different background but seem to mix together really well. And everyone just has a great time, and eventually everyone opens up and you start getting jokes flying, and it turns into a really long, fun trip.
Hey, so Dan, your turn to talk. So I'm going to ask somebody a question.
Right before we had shot Tyson's deer, we seen where there was a nice little 4x4. So we decided to go back and look for him. Luckily, we got up, started moving down that way, and he was still right in that area, getting ready to walk up a draw down there. We set up, put the rifle down, got behind it. Barely went anywhere. It was beautiful chasing him out there and getting my hands in the antlers, and just having an experience of a lifetime to be able to come out to Wyoming on a hunt like this and get that animal.
We've come a long way from a quail hunt. Now we've got a big muley here that you can hang on the wall back home.
A new centerpiece.
New centerpiece here. Well, Shoup's here, one of our good rangers here in the Purple Heart Outdoors Tour. We've got a couple of Green Berets to go now. We've got our rangers out of the way, so we bring these guys out and give them this great opportunity, and because after all, they're defending the very place that we're out here on right now. And if it wasn't for these guys, I don't think we could probably come out here and do this. So keep that in mind when you think about the Purple Heart Outdoors Tour and the kind of men that we bring out here. Congratulations.
So with the advice and encouragement of some peers and friends in the outdoor television business, I decided in 2015 to hold my first ever Dan Adler Invitational. And we did it right here at Wild Wildebeest Safaris. Here's some highlights of day one. Well, we're here with Wild Wildebeest Safaris on the first day of my invitational. As you can see, Shane made a great shot with the Best of the West Signature Series 300 Win Mag. Spot and stock, old 9-year-old bull, a great hunt. It took a while to find the right one. Once we did, the hunt was on. Kanas, tell us a little bit about these animals and the way you hunt them here in South Africa.
Well, we got up early this morning and started looking for these bulls. They moved around quite a lot during the night, and we crisscrossed the tracks until we found some fresh ones. We spotted them laying down. We got off on foot and started tracking them. They eluded us once or twice. We got back on them, and eventually this bull gave us a shot.
It was a great shot and a great hunt. Thank you. Welcome to Africa. Racket. Going towards. It's a good hit, Dan. Stay on him. It's a good hit. Down. Give him a second. Nice shot.
That is an awesome shooting weapon. I hate to admit that, you know, I'm not a big-time rifle shooter, but Dan talked me through it, told me how to adjust the scope and everything, and that thing was right on the money.
After the break, Sergeant First Class Dustin Jones keeps things rolling on the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour.
I'm Sergeant First Class Dustin Jones, Special Forces, coming up here for the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour mule deer hunt here in Kudu, Wyoming. Great place to be, really brings me back to my roots. I grew up in, Utah, Idaho, Montana. Mule deer hunt out here in Kudu, Wyoming is, it really brings me back to when I grew up in this area. Great deer all around. We finally found mine early in the morning of the second morning, and he just wasn't quite presenting the shot. He managed to cross through, some pretty significant country before we could finally put him down.
I got him.
Went down across. Went down across.
That got him.
Good shot, buddy.
Good job, dude.
It's awe-inspiring to sit out here and look at the countryside and just remember what it is that we're out here doing, and my hat's off to the whole crew that's put this whole thing together for us.
Just a great hunt so far. We've taken 3 bucks, and a beautiful morning here in northwestern Wyoming. We had a little bit of rain last night, but things cleared off. Very little wind this morning, and just a spectacular hunt, Dan.
Hey, you gotta thank our guides here to do this. I mean, this is nothing else. I mean, they're the ones that put us on it and take us out to this beautiful country here to do this. And it speaks a lot for them, because I tell you what, they take their time and their skills to come out here with these guys and take them on a great hunt. And I think that says a lot about this great country and the great men that live in this country.
Absolutely.
Well, it was an honor to do it. We're proud to do it.
Absolutely, a true testament to the tough desert muley.
Only conquered by tougher men.
For this week's shooting tip, we head out to the range with Husqvarna representative Lloyd Hill.
Hi, I'm Lloyd Hill. We are here at North Texas Outfitters, and I'm hunting with my buddy Chris Cantrell. Today we want to talk about the importance of a good shooter-spotter relationship.
Shooters ready?
I've been on some teams in the past, and the mantra was train like you're going to fight. Same thing with hunting. You need to train like you're going to hunt. So when you guys go to the range, train exactly like you are in a hunting situation.
Hit.
Pick out some kind of verbiage that's really easy for you two guys to use. That way you don't have to start a conversation to figure out where things are, to figure out what happened.
Lloyd, hog target, berm on the right. Hog target, berm on the right.
The spotter's got a lot wider field of view than the shooter does, and he's not hyper-focused on the target. He's gonna have to kind of have a overview of everything that's going on. He's gonna be giving you yardage. If the yardage changes, he's gonna have to be able to keep up with that. He's gonna be, the most important part of it is he's gonna have to give you wind calls, because the wind's moving constantly changing in some places. So he's going to have to give you a proper wind call. And if the shot impacts, he's going to have to keep up with the animal. If it misses, he's going to have to be able to follow the vapor trail or the trace, and figure out where the shot went and how to call you back in on the animal so that you get a good hit on it. If you've got a really good spotter, it's going to make your chances of making a first round hit and an ethical kill go way up. If you've got somebody that's, he's getting excited, he's not sure what he's going to be doing, it's going to definitely cause you some problems. So the best thing to do, only way to get better, is to train with each other. You guys train together, you're going to get better, everything's going to be easier, it's going to seem more fun, and you just enjoy the hunt more. I'm Lloyd Hill. Thanks for watching this week's Shooting Tip.
Over the years, the Best of the West has received some amazing pictures of trophies taken in the field from proud Husqvarna optic owners. We are so proud to see the tremendous success that Husqvarna Optics has brought to our customers. So in return, we've decided to incorporate a new segment into our future episodes. The Husqvarna Team Challenge will be a viewer submission segment from you, the viewer. Each week, we'll feature a hunt from one of our loyal customers and viewers. Each submission that airs on the Best of the West will receive a Husqvarna prize pack. And at the end of the year, our pro staff will sit down and pick a Husqvarna Team Challenge winner. The winner will be provided a Hunter Elite rifle system and a hunt that will be filmed and featured on one of our shows. So get those Husqvarnas and camcorders ready for some lights, camera, and action this year. Go to thebestofthewest.net for complete details on how to enter. The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Defiance Machine, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, Husqvarna Optics, and LongRangeStore.com.
The next animal that we had been hunting was the kudu, also known here locally as the gray ghost. This animal is amazing. We had spent time in the high areas, the mountain areas where this animal likes to be, on the hillsides. We've also spent time in the low flatlands looking for this animal. We had several spottings, but because this gray ghost is so elusive, once it gets into the brush and behind cover, it disappears instantly. Even with the best optics, this animal will elude you. We spotted a kudu that was of the right quality and the right type of animal that Tony and Dean wanted to take. We got set up several times. Because this animal was so elusive, there was no shot. So it was a very good hunt, a very good chase. Ultimately ended up having to thread the needle, if you will, to get a shot. A minute window to shoot through.
He's going down. He's going down.
Just so excited. Walking up and seeing the kudu with the spiral horns, beautiful animal. I was overcome by emotion seeing this animal, that close for the first time. I know that I'm very privileged to have the opportunity to hunt such a great animal, and truly a treasure.
People are going to look at this and go, where did you shoot this lesser kudu in Tanzania? No, this thing comes from Africa, southern Africa. It's a southern greater kudu with big 10, 11-inch bases, fully matured, and it just grew narrow, like I've never seen before. Wow. I think old ivory, it's an old bull, man. This is a warlord. Man.
What a shot.
Hey, nie gaatjie maak, né? Ek sny jou gorrel af vir jou moerskont.
That's a big animal. What a perfect shot, man.
Then these big spirals, man. A beautiful, beautiful kudu. Congratulations with the trophy and a well taken shot. through some serious brush.
Thank you very much,
No,
Tony.
you've done excellent. Something to be very proud of.
Those ivory tips too. What a stunning bull.
Blunt horns. He's worked it down. He's an old warlord. This man has fought his life and left his genes behind all over the show. Man, congrats.
Thank you very much, Tony. You guys are amazing here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the honor, and again, thank you for your service. And we want to thank you for that.
My pleasure, Tony.
And it's wonderful to have you guys here and to enjoy Africa with you guys.
Oh, it's amazing.
Great shot, man. What an incredible, incredible shot.
Thank you, guys.
That's the shot of the trip.
Beautiful.
I'm Sergeant First Class Don Henry Fredrickson. I'm on 7th Special Forces Group, ODA 7332, and this is my second adventure on the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour. These are a great group of guys to hunt with, and we have a lot of good times. It's a good program. I've been hunting, I'm originally from Idaho, and I haven't been hunting in probably about 10 or 12 years now. So this Purple Heart Outdoor Tour has really got me a chance to get back to what I love to do, which is be in the outdoors, be with a great group of guys. You don't get to spend a lot of time with people from other units. And it was nice to see the Ranger guys and the SF guys who worked well together. We worked together overseas, and it's nice to have a chance to hang out outside of work and really get to know guys. We have a lot of good jokes, but in the serious part of it, it's good to meet people that you work with all the time, and you can build that camaraderie here, and it carries over into work as well. We went out that morning, we went down the road, got up into some flat sage ground and looked over the mountain, and there's my buck. So we chased it down for a little bit. We ended up glassing for quite a while until we got to a good spot, and then they lased it about 450 yards, took the shot. It was a nice clean shot. And then it laid down. We had to walk up on it quite a ways. It was a pretty good little hike to get there through a couple of draws. We got up on it, and the guides were excellent. They called everything just right and what we needed to do to finish off the deer, and we shot it, got it right through the heart, the second shot.
Congratulations, Don. Got a great deer here. We're out here in Wyoming with the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour, and we just had a great couple days. We killed a lot of great deer. This is the most recent one that we got, about 500 yards. He killed this thing and made a great shot, almost dropped it right in place. We watched him for a long time, and it was just awesome. We're using some great weapons out here. We got some great guides and some great people, and we're just having an awesome time. We still got one more tag to fill, so we're looking to stay out here in the mountains and see what we can do. But again, congratulations, buddy, and we look forward to another great deer today.
We had been watching these deer for quite a while. We looked at them the day before, and they had gone over a small hill out there, and they'd gone into some of the draws, and we never were able to find them. But fortunately, we saw them again this morning, and we weren't able to get close to them because those animals can see you way out there. So we had to get up on some rocks and take a shot. So when I pulled the squeeze, I wasn't entirely surprised to see him go down because I was just following good marksmanship skills. But I had a fantastic gun in my hands with the great scope. It just went pretty smooth. I have to tell you, it was exhilarating for me. You always say, well, maybe it's not as fun, but that's a fantasy. Once you get out there and you make your shot and you get out there and harvest your deer, it's always exhilarating. And I tell you, if you ever get tired of it, it's time to quit.
Nice work, Dan. Thank you.
Well, nobody can say we didn't have a good time, and nobody can say that when you come out here to Wyoming and go on a mule deer hunt in the great outdoors and the great Rockies like that it's anything but tremendous fun. But there's a lot more to it than that happened out here in the last few days. What you see here is the American community stepping up to look after their soldiers and to give of their time and their resources and of their property. Right here in this beautiful place, Mooncrest Ranch, the host very generously and very patriotically opened up his home and opened up his property and gave us some tremendous guides to come out and help us to show us a fantastic time, which is it's just a testament to the American way. And the way I see it is that the great outdoors and the United States military and a few other parts out there are the last bastion of what I call the American values that are still out there. And well, we can't do it without our fellow Americans. And I always tell them, hey, this is your part of the fight. You can say when it's all over and done with, and someday, God willing, it will be over with us, with we, the United States, as the victor. You can say, hey, what did I do for my country? And say, well, I'll tell you what I did do. I supported the Purple Heart Outdoors Tour, and I supported the troops by giving what I had and what I know in the fight for freedom.
Just want to say thanks to our guides and taking us out and getting us on these animals, and the Best of the West guys tagging along with us. It's been really fantastic. I never dreamed I'd be able to go on a hunt out here like this, so I have no words to express my gratitude.
The highlight for the trip with me was getting to hunt with a good friend of mine. We've been in the Army the entire time together. You know, we've served in different parts of the battalion, but the same group. And the highlight for me was when he shot his deer. We walked up there together, and I sat down and got a picture of it. And that's a picture that I'm going to have, you know, in my photo album for the rest of my life. And that was definitely the best part of the trip.
You know, I just want to thank everybody who's helped bring this whole thing together. Really memorable experience, and I think it's something that's going to last with us for a long time. My thanks goes out to Ron and JC, the outfitters here at the ranch, and Jim Sessions that you know, have helped this whole thing come together, and you know, really made this hunt come together. And nothing makes you feel like an American by holding the horns on a big old mule deer out here in Cody, Wyoming.
So I've been hunting with the Purple Heart Outdoor Tour for a few years, and I've been really blessed by this organization. To meet other first responders, 9/11 first responders, to meet other veterans and other soldiers that have served our country that otherwise I would have never got to meet. And that's been really fun to become friends with those guys and to come out and do stuff like this, because there's not too many more things that can build like strong brotherhood bonds like we have through hunts like this. And I think that's pretty special. Meet friends for life on these organizations.
The Best of the West is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Cryptek Camo, Hawkins Precision, Polestar Outdoors, Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable, Huskamaw Optics, and LongRangeStore.com. For information about hosting a Purple Heart Outdoor Tour hunt, please contact Dan Hammock, P.O. Box 146, Edison, Georgia 39846, or email d.w.hammock@gmail.com. For more information about how to book your African hunting adventure with Wild Wildebeest Safaris, please contact Tony at 011-2782-717-4351 or by email at tony@wwbeast.com. For more information about the products and gear used in today's show, please visit LongRangeStore.com or call 1-866-754-7618.
Got it, Chris. That got him. Good job, buddy. Good job, dude.
Coming off of high emotions, we're riding pretty high after the Kudu. Kept our eyes open, looking for zebra as well. The word that I would have to live by would be patience and waiting for the right shot. And this occurred for many days. We moved into a location where Tony and Dean thought would be a good location. We moved very quietly through very thick vegetation, getting us within close to 300 yards. It took some time. We moved very slowly and deliberately. Everything worked in our favor. We moved in. I had a good line of sight through the vegetation and brush. Tony and Dean spotted the mature zebra, made sure that I had good shot placement on the triangle right on the shoulder.
Get away on his feet, just give him time.
Look at that shot.
It's a perfect long shot.
Down.
Nobody knew about us. We did a good, perfect hunt.
I want to say thank you to Wild Wildebeest Safaris, Tony and Yorka, Huskama, Best of the West Rifles. I had such a privilege to be assisted or have the assistance of such professional and experienced professional hunters. Tony, Dean, and my best friend for over 30 years, Dan, who coordinated all the details, getting us here, sponsorship from Wounded Warrior Outdoors, amazing folks there. I'm just so honored and proud to be sponsored by them. I couldn't have imagined it any better than what it was. Thank you for an amazing time, Tony and Dean.
Thank you, my man. Pleasure.
It's been a wonderful time staying here with you guys. I feel like family.
So much. You are our family.
Awesome.
It's going to make a beautiful rug. I'm very proud of it. And that was his last African animal, and we sat there, we saw the sunset, and Africa comes to calmness, and you see this red ball fall through the sky. It's amazing, and it's something that when you're there at that moment, there's no other place on earth that you would rather be. And if you've never seen it, if you've seen it once, you come with us and you sit and you see the sunset. It will call you back every day. It will burn you. It will give you a hunger to return. This is the motherland. This is where everything started. I'm so proud of this place that we have, this Africa, this Southern Africa, this nature that we can have that nobody else has. And we would love to share it with all of you. It is not that expensive. It's really just something that you have to do once in a lifetime. And I would urge you to do this and make a plan to make it happen. And I hope that Best of the West will create on making beautiful guns like this so that we can use them in the future and that this thing can just grow from strength to strength. I thank you.
When the 5th annual Huskama Challenge came around, it drew some of the finest long-range shooters in the country. This competition pushes competitors to the limit, testing their ability to range and dope the wind as well as their shooting proficiency. Join us next week when we feature highlights from that event and the shooters it attracts, right here on the Best of the West.